Okay. Section 8.2, similarity and matrix diagonalization. In this section, we run a various matrix representation of a linear transformation T from Rn to Rn in terms of transition matrix. Then we study when a matrix is similar to a diagonal matrix. And this is a relationship that we have learned here. And in chapter 6, we learned how to find this standard matrix of linear transformation. And in section 7.9, we learned how to find these transition matrices. Okay? And this is the relationship with the matrix representation of T from with respect to the ordered basis alpha and beta. And this matrix can be found with the product of these three matrices. In section 8.1, you learned how to find this by solving the linear system of equation systematically. Okay? Now, this matrix can also be found by the product of this. Okay? That's what you have learned so far. And this relationship gives intuition to us. And suppose you have two ordered bases alpha and beta, then and the linear transformation T. Okay, then the linear transformation, the matrix representation of T with respect to the ordered base beta can be written as A prime, and linear matrix representation of T with respect to the ordered basis alpha can be written as A. Then the relationship between A prime and A is this. If you have one vector x, then the image of x with this A prime can be also obtained by multiply this matrix, send x from here to here, and from here to here, and from here to here. So the x times a matrix P times matrix A times matrix Q can have the same image as the image of x under the A prime. That gives a motivation on this. So actually, this matrix and this matrix is also a linear transformation which has the same domain here. And it has the same domain. Then image of the x on under A prime is the same as image of x under this linear transformation P versus AP. So eventually, these two linear transformations are same. So their matrix representation should be same. So which means A prime is the same as this matrix P inverse A prime. Then what is the relationship between these two matrices and A prime? Okay, here. First theorem tells us this. If T is a linear transformation on Rn to Rn itself, and alpha and beta are ordered basis for Rn, then this A and A prime has a relationship with A prime is equal to P inverse A prime, where as you see in here, where this P matrix, transition matrix P, is the transition matrix from beta to alpha, which can be written in here. So if you find the matrix P and A, then you can easily find the matrix representation A prime. Okay. Here's an example. Let T be a linear transformation from R2 to R2 defined by this. And alpha is a standard basis, epsilon, for R2. And beta is a basis, another ordered basis for R2. Then find A prime. How? All you have to do is find the transition matrix and the standard matrix A and find the P inverse A P. So how to find the P? Since we have a standard basis epsilon, so this the first column of this is the image. The P is rewrite this y1 in terms of alpha, which is standard basis. So this goes to the first column. Since alpha is a standard basis, this y1 is just is going to be a first column of this p. Then y2 in terms coordinate vector of y2 in terms of epsilon, in terms of standard basis alpha. So it should be same as just -1 and 1. Okay, so P matrix can be easily found from these two in terms of standard basis. Then P inverse can be easily found. Then P inverse AP gives us this. This will be exactly same as what you, if you find A prime, by the way, that you learned in section 8.1, it will be exactly same. Okay, here we can define a linear transformation and find the transition matrix P and find the P inverse times P inverse times A times P. Then you will have a transition matrix and A, then P inverse AP will give you the matrix representation of A from beta to alpha. Here alpha is a standard basis. So this matrix should be same as what you found here. Okay. Similarity. So that relationship gives us a motivation. The two matrices A and B are similar if there exists an invertible matrix P such that B is equal to P inverse AP. Then we call these two matrices A and B are similar, and it can be written as B is similar to A. Okay. For example, if we have a matrix A P and B and P like this, then P inverse AP is B. That satisfies this, so we can say A and B are similar. Okay, A and B are similar. We can say that because this similarity relationship satisfies these three conditions. The first, reflexive. A is similar to itself. If B is similar to A, then A is similar to B. Symmetric. If B is similar to A and A is similar to C, then B is similar to C. Transitive. If a relationship satisfies these three properties, reflexive, symmetric, transitive, then we call the relationship is equivalence relation. So this similarity relation is an equivalent relation. This equivalent relation gives us many important properties of matrices. The first property is this. For square matrix AB of the same order, if AB are similar matrices to each other, then we have the following. Determinant of A and B are same. Trace of B, A and B are same. Okay? If they are equivalent. If they are similar. Because if A is similar to B, then there is an invertible matrix P such that A is equal to P inverse B P. Okay? So determinant of A can be is same as determinant of P inverse B P. Okay? Because A is same as P inverse A B P. But determinant is multiplicative. So we can split it like this. Okay? Since this is the multiplicative property of determinant. And these are the scalar. So you can change the order. You can move this to here. So, and also this with this multiplicative property gives us the determinant of P inverse times determinant of P is determinant of P inverse times P, which means determinant of identity, which is 1. So this is 1, so determinant of A should be 1 times determinant of B, which gives us determinant of A is same as determinant of B. Whenever A and B is similar. If you have a similar matrix, they have the same determinant. What about trace? Remember that the one exercise problems in earlier chapter, in chapter 3, then trace of AB is same as trace of BA, is commute. So with this, A is same as P inverse BP, so trace of A should be same as trace of P inverse BP. Okay, but here we can rotate, we can exchange BP and P inverse. Then P times P inverse is going to be identity matrix. So we have what? Trace of A is same as trace of B. Okay, so trace should be same. This gives us lots of interesting properties of matrices. So we can use this. We can simplify the many real world problems with these properties. Next, diagonalizable matrix. If a matrix is similar to a diagonal matrix, then we call it is diagonalizable. Which means if there exists an invertible matrix P such that P inverse AP is a diagonal matrix, then we call A is diagonalizable. And this diagonal matrix P is called the diagonalizing matrix for A. So if we multiply P on A, so P inverse AP is a diagonal matrix. So P enforce for a matrix A to a diagonal matrix. So we call this matrix P is a diagonalizing matrix for A. Diagonalizable matrix A is so important. One example, if P inverse AP is a diagonal matrix, then A to the case power can be found by this, if it is diagonalizable. Then finding the case power of A is a very complicated problem if we have a 1,000 by 1,000 size matrix. But case power of diagonal matrix is easy to find. Okay. So if the matrix is diagonalizable, any problem related to the matrix A can be easily computed with the diagonal matrix D instead of A, which is extremely easy to deal. Okay. So for invertible matrix P and a matrix A, we have P inverse AP is this diagonal matrix, which means matrix A is diagonalizable, and the P is a diagonalizing matrix for A. Okay. Here we have a problem that random problem generator that makes a matrix A is diagonalizable. Yes, yes, it is diagonalizable. If you make a different problem, then is it diagonalizable? Is it true? It is diagonalizable. I gave it wrong, and they say my answer is not right. So it says this matrix is diagonalizable because it has 3 eigenvalues, which is -2 and 1 and -2.6, etc. And it has 3 linear independent eigenvectors. So it is diagonalizable. In this section, 8.T, we're going to learn what is the criteria to check whether the given matrix is diagonalizable or not. Okay? Here. So in here, I checked it. It is when I ask it, the matrix is diagonalizable. It says it's true. It is diagonalizable, like what you saw here. Okay? So we can easily check it if we know the criteria to be a diagonalizable matrix. Then we can easily make a coding, so we can easily check whether the given matrix is diagonalizable or not. And diagonal matrix is always diagonalizable. Okay? Because there is always identity matrix which is diagonalizing the matrix T. Okay? Diagonal matrix is diagonalizable. But not every matrix is diagonalizable. This is important. So we should know which matrix is diagonalizable and which matrix is not diagonalizable. We should know how to characterize those. First, this matrix 0, 1, 0, 0 is not diagonalizable. How are you going to show? How you can prove? By the way of contradiction, suppose this matrix is diagonalizable. Okay? Then we show it occurs a contradiction. So it cannot be diagonalizable. That's what is. That's the one way to show it. 송민호 군, 송민규 군, 이해해? 어떤 매트리스가 다이고널라이저블 하지 않은 걸 보이려고 그러면 모순을 이용해서 만약 그것이 다이고널라이저블 하다면 매트리스 인버터 매트리스 P가 존재하지. P 인버스 A P가 D 다이고널 매트리스예요. 그렇게 만약에 그렇게 존재한다면 그러면 그게 모순이다는 걸 보이면 그런 매트리스가 존재하지 않는다는 걸 보일 수가 있죠. 그렇죠? That's the way. So suppose matrix by by the way of contradiction, suppose A is diagonalizable, then there is an invertible matrix P such that P, the determinant of P is non-zero, and P can be written as ABCD, and D can be written as a diagonal matrix whose diagonal entries are E and F. Then P inverse AP is equal to D. So it should satisfy AP is equal to PD. Okay? So AP is this and PD is this. So this should be same, which means each entry should be same. The sides are already same. So CE should be 0 in here, and DF should be 0. Okay? So CE should be 0. So at least one of these C and E should be 0. So let's suppose C is not 0, then E should be 0. But if E is 0, then what? A times E is 0, so C should be 0. So C should be 0 again. This occurs a contradiction. We assumed C is not 0, but C should be 0. So C should be 0 already. Then now we show D is also 0. So assume D is not 0, then in the same way we can show D should be 0. Okay? Suppose D is not 0, then it occurs a contradiction. So C is 0 and D is 0. We can easily show that by the similar way. Okay, then so we showed C and D are both 0, which means AD minus BC here, D is 0 and C is 0. So AD minus BC should be 0 all the time. But we assumed P is an invertible matrix. Okay? So we assumed this is not 0. But in any case, if the matrix P doesn't exist, then AD minus BC should be 0. It occurs a contradiction. So there is no such P. There is no such invertible matrix P that diagonalize matrix A. Okay, so it occurs a contradiction. So A cannot be a diagonalizable matrix. A is not a diagonal matrix. This matrix, this form, will be treated in detail in chapter 10, Jordan canonical form. This is called one of the Jordan block, simplest Jordan block that you will see. Okay, so you will see more about this non-diagonalizable matrix in chapter 10. Now we concentrate on diagonalizable matrices. Here is an equivalent condition for diagonalizability. Let A be a square matrix of order n if A is diagonalizable, if and only if A has n linearly independent eigenvectors. If and only if. This is very important. If and only if. Diagonalizable, if and only if A has n linearly independent eigenvectors. That's it. Okay? So if you want to show a matrix is diagonalizable, all you have to do is just find n linearly independent eigenvectors. With this, if A is diagonalizable, then A is similar to a diagonal matrix D, whose main diagonal entries are equal to the eigenvalues. Okay? And the ith column of the diagonalizing matrix P is an eigenvector of A corresponding to eigenvalues of lambda i's of A. Okay, it gives more. If it is diagonalizable, then you have a invertible matrix P. That P inverse AP is a diagonal matrix, and so it's similar. Then the eigenvalues of the diagonal matrix are main diagonal entries. Okay, which is the same as the eigenvalues of A. Then corresponding eigenvectors are the corresponding column vectors of P for lambda i's. This is what this theorem 102 teaches you. 책은 100권, 백선여권. 피곤해? 자, 근데 이 정리는 중요한 거다. This is a very important. So this is one of the main theorems that will be treated in the final examination. Okay, so you should not be sleepy on this proof. Okay, sufficient condition. If A is diagonalizable, then there exists an invertible matrix P, okay, whose columns are P to the i's, such that P inverse AP is a B and B is a diagonal matrix. From here, we have AP is equal to PB. So AP, the first column of AP should be same as first column of PB, which is this. And second column of AP should be same as second column of PB. And last column of AP should be same as last column of PB. So we have this relationship. What this says, P is an invertible matrix. So the columns are non-zero vectors. Okay, we have a matrix A and non-zero vector P here and scalar BIs. This gives us exactly the eigenvalue and eigenvector relationship, which means this B1 is an eigenvalue of A and P1 is the corresponding eigenvector. B2 is an eigenvalue of A and P2 is a corresponding eigenvector for P2, A lambda P2. And Pn is an eigenvector and Bn is corresponding eigenvalue of A. So here, these Bi's are eigenvalues of A and the Pi's are corresponding eigenvectors of A to Bi's, which are eigenvalues of A in the order. Okay. Since P is invertible, these columns should be linear independent. So we have a matrix whose column vectors are linear independent eigenvectors of A. How many? N. We have N linearly independent eigenvectors. Okay? So it's done. Next, necessary condition. Suppose A has eigenvalues like this, then their corresponding eigenvectors are P to the J's. Then form a matrix P, whose column vectors are these eigenvectors. Then AP can be written in this way. Since this is eigenvalue and eigenvector relationship, so this can be written in here. You can write this matrix as a product of this matrix P times a diagonal matrix. Okay? First column, lambda 1 times P1. Second column, lambda 2 times P2. Last column, lambda n times Pn. This is exactly. This matrix is P and this matrix is D. What this says is, and the P is an invertible matrix because you have n linearly independent eigenvectors. The columns of the P's are all linearly independent. So P is an invertible matrix. So multiply P inverse on both sides, then we have P inverse AP is diagonal matrix D, whose main diagonal entries are the eigenvalues of A. Done. It is diagonalizable. Okay? So this theorem not only gives this fact, but also how to find the matrix P and D. Okay? 이 정리는 1차 대각화 가능하다. 그러면 1차 if and only if 1차 정리면 n개의 아이겐벡터가 존재한다는 것을 설명하는 것에서 더 나아가서 실제로 여러분들이 아이겐벡터를 찾기만 하면 P 매트릭스를 이렇게 그 1차 독립이나 아이겐벡터로 순서대로만 배열하면 P 인버스 AP가 언제나 D가 되는 그 P와 D를 찾는 준거를 준 거야. 팩트뿐만 아니라 방법까지 준 거예요. P하고 D를 찾는 방법까지. Okay? So this is a procedure for diagonalizing matrix A. If matrix A is diagonalizable, then you have n linearly independent eigenvectors. Okay? Then form a matrix P whose columns are those eigenvectors. Then P inverse AP is always a diagonal matrix whose main diagonal entries are the eigenvalues. 이게 위에 시어렘이 주는 훌륭한 정보예요. P와 D에 대한. 그럼 여러분들은 지금 이제 아이겐밸류 찾을 줄 알지? 내가 매트릭스 주면 매트릭스 10차행에도 아이겐밸류 찾을 수 있지? 그 아이겐밸류에 대응한 아이겐벡터를 10개 찾을 수 있지? 만약에 존재한다면, 1차 독립인 아이겐벡터가 존재한다면. 오케이? 그러면 여러분들은 P 인버스 A, P 되는 P하고 D를 찾을 수 있다는 소리지. 오케이? Okay, here's the example. So suppose you have a 2x2 matrix A like this, whose eigenvalues are 2 and 1. Okay? Then you can find the corresponding eigenvectors, x1 and x2. Then you can form a matrix P, whose column vectors are x1 and x2. Then P inverse AP should be a diagonal matrix whose main diagonal entries are 2 and 1 in the order. That's it. Okay? If you have a 3x3 matrix like this, then what you can do? for this 3 by 3 matrix, you find the eigenvalues of this matrix. So you have what? 3 eigenvalues, 1, 2, and 2. And you have 2 distinct eigenvalues, but you have 3 eigenvalues, okay? 2 distinct eigenvalues. So let's say lambda 1 is equal to 1 and lambda 2 is equal to 2. For this lambda 1, what you have to do? You have to find the linear independent eigenvector. Actually, you have to find the basis for the eigenspace for lambda 1. Okay? You solve this, then you have a solution space. Okay? You have a solution space. Okay? You have solution space, and so you can have a basis for that eigenspace. Like say 2, minus 2, 1, and 1 here. Okay? Okay, so you found the one linear independent eigenvector, which is a basis for an eigenspace corresponding to lambda 1. Okay, here. So lambda 2 is equal to 2. You solve this linear system of equation to find the linear independent eigenvectors, which is a basis for eigenspace for lambda 2. Okay? You solve this. Then you have 2 free variables. Okay, in this case, so you can find basis for the basis for eigenspace corresponding to lambda 2, which is these 2 vectors. So you have 1 linear independent eigenvector, and you have another 2 linear independent eigenvector. You now have 3 linear independent eigenvectors. So make a matrix P, whose columns are this x1 and x2 and x3. And this matrix, the determinant is not 0, so it's invertible. And if you multiply P inverse AP, then P inverse AP should be a diagonal matrix whose main diagonal entry is lambda 1 and lambda 2 like this. Okay? You can do it. 여러분들이 아이겐밸류 찾을 수 있고 대응하는 아이겐 스페이스에 대한 솔루션 스페이스를 생각할 수 있죠. 그 솔루션 스페이스, 그게 아이겐 스페이스지. 그거에 대한 기저를 찾을 수 있지. 그게 앞에 1장에서 다 배운 거지. 그렇죠? 그리고 고유값, 고유벡터 그 아이겐 스페이스의 정의에 대해서. 그러니까 여러분들이 연립방 정식을 푸는 거를 배운 거를 여기서 지금 수도 없이 써야 되는 거야. 솔루션 스페이스의 기저를 찾는 거를 써야 되는 거야. 아이겐밸류 구한 다음에. 그것만 할 수 있으면 리니어 인디펜던트한 아이겐벡터들 찾을 수 있지. 그러면 모든 게 해결되는 거야. 그게 n개가 되면 대가가 가능하니까 그럼 모든 게 쉬워지는 거야. n개가 안 될 때 이제 다루는 것을 나중에 10장에서 이제 제너럴라이즈드 아이겐벡터라는 개념으로 배우는 거예요. 오케이, next section. Theorem 8.25. If xi's are eigenvectors of A corresponding to distinct eigenvalues, lambda 1 to lambda k. If you have n by n matrix, but you only have k distinct eigenvalues. Okay? With some algebraic multiplicity. Okay? 이게 n by n 행렬이기 때문에 아이겐밸류는 n개예요. 근데 그 중에 서로가 중분이 있을 수 있으니까 서로 다른 아이겐밸류는 k개가 있을 수 있는 거야. Okay? So in that case, this theorem says the corresponding eigenvectors to distinct eigenvalues are all linearly independent. This is what it says. 아이겐밸류가 distinct 하면 대응에서 나온 아이겐벡터가 언제나 서로가 1차 독립이 되는 거야. 즉, 여기서 아이겐벡터 하나 찾았죠. 람다 1에 대해서. 여기서 람다 2에 대해서 아이겐벡터 1차 독립의 아이겐벡터 2개 찾았죠. 여러분들이 이것하고 이 하나하고 이 2개가 서로 1차 독립인 거는 확인 안 해도 된다는 소리야. 아이겐벡터가 디스팅트 하면 따로따로 구한 건 다 1차 독립이라는 소리야. 이해돼요? 찾은 다음에 이 3개가 다시 1차 독립인지 이 디터미넌트 1로 확인 안 해도 된다는 소리야. 언제나 디터미넌트가 0이 아니니까. 그렇게 찾아야 돼. 디스팅트 아이겐밸류에 대해서는. 이 2개만 1차 독립입니다. 자기 자신, 디스팅트 아이겐밸류, then corresponding eigenvectors are all linearly independent. 굉장히 중요한 사실이에요. This is very important fact. Okay? Yeah. This can be shown by mass induction. But I will, here, theorem 8.26. So, if a square matrix A of order n has n distinct eigenvalues, then what that means is we have at least n linear independent eigenvectors. So, the matrix should be diagonalizable. 그러니까 n개의 디스팅트 아이겐밸류를 가지면 그 대응하는 아이겐벡터들이 무조건 다 1차 독립이죠. 그러면 우리가 적어도 n개의 1차 독립의 아이겐벡터를 갖고 있는 거죠. 그러니까 당연히 다이고널라이저블이지. Okay. Here, the matrix A in example 6 has two distinct eigenvalues. So you have two by two matrix and two distinct eigenvalues. So you don't have to compute anything. You can say the matrix is diagonalized. That's it. Okay? Here, diagonal matrix A can have a repeated eigenvalue. So the inverse, the converse of theorem 8.2.6 is not necessarily true here. 자, 행렬이 중근도 가질 수 있기 때문에 행렬 A가 다이고널라이저블 하다고 A가 n개의 디스팅트 아이겐밸류를 가질 필요는 없는 거야. 예를 들어 아이덴티티 매트릭스는 다이고널라이저블이지. 그렇죠? 아이덴티티 매트릭스의 아이겐밸류가 뭐야? 다 1이지. 디스팅트 아이겐밸류가 뭐야? 몇 개 있어? 한 개밖에 없지. 그러니까 역은 성립하지 않는다는 거야. 오케이? 대각선 행렬이라도 아이겐밸류가 중근이 있을 수 있다는 거야. 아이겐밸류가 디스팅트하지 않아도 대각화 가능할 수 있다는 거죠. So this theorem is true, but the converse is not true. May not be true. That's what this note says. Next, algebraic multiplicity and geometric multiplicity of an eigenvalue. Here, suppose lambda 1 to lambda k be distinct eigenvalues of A. Then the characteristic polynomial of A can be written as this. Okay? This is a polynomial of degree n. So we have n solutions. But we have k distinct eigenvalues, so it can be factored in this way. Okay, here we call this M1 to M1, M2, and Mk are algebraic multiplicity of lambda i's. 대수적 중복도라 그래요. 여러분들이 그동안 배웠던 중근의 개념은 algebraic 중근이라는 뜻이야. 대수적으로. Okay? This is nth polynomial. The addition of these mi's should be n. 근의 개수는 totally n차 양식이면 n개 있는 거죠. n개 이젝트리. 그러니까 중근은 n개 있는 거예요. 그러니까 그걸 다 합치면 n개예요. 그리고 람다1은 m1 중근이고 m1개의 중근을 갖고 람다2는 m2개의 중근을 갖고 람다 k는 mk 중근을 가져요. 그 근들의 개수를 다 합치면 n개가 돼야 되고. Okay? New and important concept is this. The number of linearly independent eigenvector corresponding to the eigenvalue lambda I is called the geometric multiplicity of lambda I. Geometric multiplicity. New concept. Geometric multiplicity. 자, 이게 뭐, geometric multiplicity가 뭐가 되는 거야? 1차 독립인 아이겐벡터의 개수죠. 람다1에 대해서 1차 독립인 아이겐벡터들의 개수. 이게 뭐야? 람다1에 대해서 아이겐스페이스를 정의했죠. 아이겐스페이스. AX 이퀄 람다 X를 만족하는 X의 집합. 그렇죠? 그게 아이겐스페이스지. 그 아이겐스페이스의 기저가 바로 1차 독립인 그 벡터들이 1차 독립인 고유 벡터들이 되는 것이죠. 그 개수가 바로 geometric multiplicity가 되는 거예요. So, the geometric multiplicity of eigenvalue lambda I is exactly same as dimension of eigenspace corresponding to lambda I. 오케이? 오케이. 그러니까 여러분들이 그 아이겐스페이스도 이미 배웠고 연립방정식 푸는 것도 배웠으니까 솔루션 스페이스를 구하고 그거의 기저를 구하면 그 기저의 개수가 바로 geometric multiplicity가 되는 거예요. 그럼 now you know the concept of algebraic multiplicity and concept of geometric multiplicity. 여러분들 이미 아이겐스페이스, 기저 이런 것들을 다 배웠고 연립방정식 푸는 걸 다 배웠기 때문에 지금 여러분들은 이거를 완전히 이해할 수 있어야 돼요. This is very important because we are looking for n linearly independent vectors for n by n matrix if it does exist. So 다이고널 매트릭스가 중요하잖아. 그러니까 n개의 리니어 인디펜던트를 찾는 게 중요하잖아. 그렇죠? 그럼 그것을 n개의 리니어 인디펜던트를 갖는지 아는지를 확인하려면 그러면 각각의 아이겐밸류의 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티를 다 알아야 되는 거잖아. 근데 그 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티를 아는 것은 아이겐스페이스의 디멘전을 아는 거하고 똑같다는 것이죠. 오케이? All clear? 손원진 군? 예. n개 리니어 인디펜던트 아이겐벡터가 필요해. 그러면 각각의 고유값에 대한 리니어 인디펜던트 아이겐벡터를 찾아야 될 거 아니야. 몇 개 존재하는지 알아야 될 거 아니야. 그게 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티를 알아야 된다는 소리잖아. 그 얘기는 이 솔루션 스페이스, 즉 아이겐 스페이스의 디멘전을 알아야 된다는 소리죠. 근데 여러분들은 아이겐 스페이스의 디멘전을 찾을 줄 알잖아. 연립방 정식을 구해서 해집합을 구할 줄 알잖아. 해집합을 구하면 거기서 기절을 구할 줄 알잖아. 그렇죠? 그래서 비로소 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티를 알게 되는 거죠. 그래서 여러분이 대각화를 할 수 있게 되는 것이죠. 그러니까 여러분들이 앞에서 배운 것 중에서 하나도 모를 게 없지. 다 알아야지 할 수 있죠. 그렇죠? 근데 대각화가 중요하니까 그 꼭 필요한 것들을 쭉 정리해서 지금까지 가르쳐 준 거예요. 그걸 이용해서 이제 대각화 가능한지 안 한지를 확인하게 되는 것이죠. Okay, now, so you should know the algebraic multiplicity and geometric multiplicity. Difference of these two. 그러니까 기말고사에서 이게 개념 물어보는 문제가 나올 테니까 you should know clear concept of these two. Equivalent condition for diagonalization. An n by n square matrix A, if A is diagonalizable, if and only if the sum of geometric multiplicity of eigenvalues of A is equal to n. 자, n개의 리니어 인디펜던트 아이겐벡터를 가져야 되는 거죠? 대각화 가능하려면 if and only if. 그럼 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티가 바로 1차 독립의 아이겐벡터의 숫자죠. 람다 1, 람다 i에 대해서. 각각을 다 1차 독립의 아이겐벡터를 구한 전체 합이 n개가 돼야만 대각화 가능한 거죠. So, 이 대각화 가능하려면 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티들, 1차 독립의 아이겐벡터들의 개수 다 더한 게 뭐가 돼야 돼? n개가 돼야 되지. So, the sum of the geometric multiplicity of each eigenvalues should be same as n, which means A has n linearly independent eigenvectors. So, if and only if it is diagonalizable. Okay? This means exactly what the proof says. Let A be a square matrix and lambda be an eigenvalue of A, then algebraic multiplicity of lambda is greater than or equal to geometric multiplicity of lambda. Okay. 그러니까 대수적 중복도를 다 합친 게 n이었죠. 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티를 다 합쳐서 n이 되면 대각화 가능하게 되는 거죠. 자, 그러면 대수적 중복도하고 기하적 중복도하고는 어떤 관계가 있을까? 대수적 중복도가 근의 개수였죠. 중근의 개수였죠. 그리고 기하적 중복도는 ax 이퀄 람다 ix를 만족하는 솔루션 스페이스, 즉 아이겐 스페이스의 디멘전이었죠. 그렇죠? 근데 우리가 앞에서도 이미 이걸 보였어요. 그 1차 독립인 아이겐벡터들을 또 솔루션 스페이스의 기저를, 아이겐 스페이스의 기저를 구해봤을 때 그 기저가 그 중근의 개수를 넘어선 적이 있었어? 중근의 개수를 넘어설 수가 없어요. 야, 지오메트릭 스페이스 맥시멈 존재한 걸 찾아서 해서 맥시멈일 때가 바로 합치면 중근의 개수의 합인 n하고 똑같아지는 거예요. 보통의 경우는 그보다 같거나 다 작아요. 그래서 그 합도 같거나 작은 거죠. 오케이? 그것이 정리가 얘기하는 거예요. Here is the proof. So algebraic multiplicity is always little bigger than or equal to geometric multiplicity of each eigenvalues. Let A be a geometric multiplicity, and that P1 is n by k matrix whose columns are k linearly independent eigenvectors of A corresponding to lambda. Then we can construct an invertible matrix P by adding n minus k linearly independent columns to P1. So we have a P1 whose column vectors are linear independent eigenvectors, and we just added n minus k linearly independent columns here to form an invertible matrix P. Then this invertible matrix P. Then let Q is a Q1 and Q2 is a block matrix of Q1 and Q2 be the inverse of P, because P is an invertible matrix. Yeah, P inverse does exist. So P inverse AP can be written as this. Here, note that A and P inverse AP has the same characteristic polynomial, since the first k columns of P inverse AP have lambda in its diagonals. Here, the characteristic polynomial of P inverse AP has a factor of at least lambda minus x minus lambda case. Thence, the algebraic multiplicity of lambda is always greater than or equal to the geometric multiplicity of lambda. 여기서 보듯이 이미 중근이 여기서 이게 람다 ik가 요게 있던 소리는 아이겐밸류 람다가 k의 중근이 이미 존재한다는 소리죠. 우리는 람다에 대해서 1차 독립인 아이겐벡터를 K개밖에 못 찾을 수 없었죠. 근데 여기는 이미 K개의 대수적 중복도를 갖는 아이겐밸류가 존재하죠. 이 아래에 람다가 더 있을 수는 있지만 더 이거보다 적을 수는 없죠. 그러니까 맥시멈 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티가 K라고 한다면 그에 대응하는 아이겐밸류 람다 아이겐밸류 람다는 K개 이상 존재한다는 것을 확인할 수 있죠. So this explanation shows the algebraic multiplicity is always little bigger than or equal to the geometric multiplicity of lambda. Okay, here, next. A square matrix A over then A is diagonalizable if and only if each eigenvalue of lambda of A has the same algebraic and geometric multiplicity. 자, 아까 얘기했듯이 각각의 아이겐밸류의 알제브레이크 멀티시티하고 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티에서 알제브레이크 멀티플리시티가 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티보다 같거나 크잖아요. 근데 합쳐서 n이 되려면 그 각각의 아이겐밸류에 대한 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티하고 알제브레이크 멀티플리시티가 다 같아야만 합치면 n이 되지, 하나라도 적으면 다 합쳤을 때 그만큼 적게 되는 것이죠. So if the matrix is diagonalizable, then if for each eigenvalue, the algebraic multiplicity and geometric multiplicity should be same. So when we add all those, it should be same as n. Okay, it can be explained in here. So we know if it's diagonalizable, then AP, PD can be written in this way. Here, as you see, we have n linearly independent eigenvectors, and we have n eigenvalues here. So what this says is we have a certain number of eigenvalues here, then we should have a same number of corresponding linear independent eigenvectors here. So 여기에 있는 algebraic multiplicity하고 그거에 대응하는 geometric multiplicity, 1차 독립의 아이겐벡터들이 이그젝트리 각각 블록별로 같아야지만 다 합쳤을 때 n이 된다는 소리죠. This explanation can be shown in these equations. Next, A is a 3x3 matrix. Then characteristic equation, polynomial equation is this. This is polynomial, and this when we set it 0, it becomes an equation. Okay, here what you have, we have eigenvalue of A as 2 and 3, and 3 has algebraic multiplicity 2. Okay, here the following two vectors are linear independent, corresponding to lambda 2 and lambda 3 respectively. 이 행렬에 대해서 우리가 아이겐벡터를 찾아보면 람다2에 대해서 1차 독립인 아이겐벡터 하나밖에 찾을 수가 없었고 람다2에 대해서 1차 독립인 아이겐벡터 하나밖에 찾을 수가 없었어요. 쉽게 확인해 볼 수 있어요. 그러면 이게 3x3 행렬인데 we have only 2 linear independent eigenvectors, not more. The geometric multiplicity of lambda 3 is 1. Algebraic multiplicity of lambda 1 is 2. So there is a difference. So it cannot be diagonalizable, cannot be, because we have only 2 linear independent eigenvectors. We don't have 3 linearly independent eigenvectors, so it's not diagonalizable. Because the geometric multiplicity of lambda is equal to 3 is only 1, and algebraic multiplicity is 2. They are not same. There is an eigenvalue whose geometric multiplicity, algebraic multiplicity and geometric multiplicity are not same. So it's not diagonalizable. 그래서 diagonalizable 하지 않은 걸 보이려면 아이겐밸류 중에 하나만 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티하고 알제브릭 멀티플리시티가 같지 않은 걸 찾기만 하면 끝나는 거예요. 오케이? 대각화 가능하지 않은 걸 찾으려면, 그러면 아이겐밸류 하나만 찾으면 돼. 지오메트릭 멀티플리시티하고 알제브릭 멀티플리시티가 같지 않은. 그러면 we can say, 이게 마지막 이제 example인데, it can be shown that this matrix has eigenvalue 3 and 2 with algebraic multiplicity 1 and geometric multiplicity algebraic multiplicity 1 and 2 respectively. Then we further show that geometric multiplicity of 3 is and 2 are 1 and 2 respectively. Hence, A is diagonalizable since A is 3 linear independent eigenvectors. So, geometric multiplicity of eigenvalue 3 is 1, and geometric multiplicity of eigenvalue 2 is 2. So, we have what? We have the 3 as the sum of the geometric multiplicity of these two eigenvalues which is same as the sum of the algebraic multiplicity of eigenvalues, lambda 1 and lambda 2, which means we have three linearly independent eigenvectors. So if we form a matrix P, whose column vectors are those linearly independent eigenvectors, then P inverse AP should be a diagonal matrix whose diagonal entries are eigenvalues. Okay? Here, let us further, with that, compute, like what we asked, compute the a's fifth power, then a's fifth power can be easily found by using the fifth power of diagonal matrix, which is easy. Okay? So with this, we can compute the million power of A by using the easy computation of the millionth power of the diagonal matrix. I think that's the end of section 8.2. Any questions? 여기서 보면 우리가 제1회 창작, 과학기술 창작대에서 상 받았을 때 사진 나오는데, 여기서 여러분들이 여기서 보면은 홈페이지가 있는데, 여러분들이 지금 배운 그런 지식을 이용해 갖고서는 이렇게 3D 이미지들을 만들어낼 수 있어요. 또 선형 변환을 이용해서 또 변화들을, 그 변화에서 만든 것들을 다 이렇게 프린트아웃 하는 것들, 이런 걸로 우리가 제1회 대한민국 과학기술 창작대전에서 상 받은 그 기록을 여기다 집어넣었네. Okay, next. Yeah, we will cover section 8.3 and diagonalization with orthogonal matrix in the next class. 이건 뭐냐면 P inverse AP equal D를 배웠잖아요. 근데 P를 구하더라도 P inverse를 또 구하려는 게 1이 될 수 있지. 사이즈가 적은 사이즈가 아니라 예를 들어 만 바이 만 행렬이라고 한다면 요새 빅데이터 같은 경우에는 뭐 100만 바이 100만 행렬도 쉽게 볼 수 있는데 100만 바이 100만 행렬에 예를 들어 10만 승을 구하려고 그러는데 그럴 때 이제 P를 구했어. 근데 P를 구했는데 100만 바이 100만 행렬에 P 인버스를 구하려면 그것도 1이잖아. 그러니까 만약에 P 인버스를 쉽게 구하는 방법이 뭐가 있을까? 만약에 P 인버스가 P 트랜스포즈하고 똑같다면 그러면 P만 구하면 그냥 P 인버스 그냥 구한 셈이 되잖아. 그러니까 만약에 그런 행렬, 즉 그런 P를 찾을 수 있느냐? P 트랜스포즈 AP가 D가 되는 그런 행렬을 찾을 수가 있느냐? 그 문제예요. 그렇게 되면 쉽지. 그거에 위해서 우리가 뭘 사용하면 되지? P 트랜스포즈 P가 아이덴티티 되는 행렬, P가 무슨 행렬이야? 리얼소건한 행렬이죠. 우리가 그람시미치 정기직교합법을 배웠죠. 우리가 1차 독립인 벡터들이 있으면 그걸 가지고 뭘 구할 수 있지? 올소 노말 벡터를 구할 수 있죠. 그러면 1차 독립인 벡터로 올소 노말 벡터를 만들어서 그걸 컬럼으로 하는 행렬을 P라고 한다면 그럼 P 트랜스포즈 AP가 D가 되죠. 그러면 얼마큼만 쉬워져? 아이겐밸류 구하고 아이겐벡터만 구하면 P하고 D를 구할 수 있죠. 그러면 P 인버스도 그냥 구한 셈이니까 P 트랜스포즈 AP가 D가 되는 그 모든 관계가 완전히 정리가 된 것이죠. 그렇게 되면 그에 관련된 A에 관련된 모든 문제가 다 쉽게 되죠. 그래서 여러분들이 7장에서 그렇게 다양한 그런 개념들, 프로젝션 역할을 배운 거예요. Any questions before section 8.3? Okay, then class dismissed.